Hi everyone, and thank you for joining this WaterSense Partner Marketing webinar. We hope you all had an enjoyable and successful Fix a Leak week. I'm Kristen Harold with ERG, a contractor for EPA's WaterSense program, and I'll be moderating today's presentation. Before we dive into the webinar, let's review a few housekeeping items and today's discussion topics. All attendees are muted to minimize background noise. To ask questions, you can enter them into the questions box of your GoToWebinar control panel, and we will do our best to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. This PowerPoint presentation and audio will be posted to the WaterSense Partner website in the near future. Now, let's have a poll to see who is on call today. What type of organization do you work for? Okay, looks like overwhelmingly utility and state or local government. Today, we'll share a recap of last week's Fix a Leak week, including traditional and social media, events, and a WaterSense in action reminder. Next, we'll provide tips for a successful sprinkler spruce up, and Karina Sandikay will share how the City of Santa Monica in California successfully promotes the campaign. Then we'll hear from Jonathan Kleinman from AIQUEOUS and Annikki Chamberlain of the town of Gilbert and formerly of the City of Prescott in Arizona on how to manage a water conservation program in the cloud. Next, we'll discuss the new WaterSense website and the upcoming bathroom fixtures campaign and give you a reminder about the Partner of the Year Awards application. Finally, we will end our discussion with a Q&A for our guest speakers and wrap up with the May webinar topic and date. Now, Veronica Bloody, Chief of EPA's WaterSense branch, will recap another successful Fix a Leak week. Hey, Veronica, you're muted if you have been trying to talk.
Thank you for that.
There you go.
Little things. I want to thank all of our partners who participated in the 9th Annual Fix a Leak Week this past week. This year was another success, helping people find and fix water leaks at home. I know that we were a bit quiet this year, so we want to send a really big thank you out to the Arizona Municipal Water Users Association for hosting this year's Twitter party. It really could not have been done without them. We had more than 120 participants, and some WaterSense partners posted or retweeted messages using that hashtag. Our cumulative Twitter tracking efforts showed more than 1,600 people tweeted almost 4,700 times with related hashtags in the days leading up to and throughout the week. And as you can see on the slide, we have some additional stats there. Next slide. Our map that we have on our website and on our Facebook page featured 39 partner events across the country and in Canada during the month of March. We appreciate the partners who turned in event notification forms because we use that to populate the map for Fix a Leak Week events. And we also do some of our own investigations to track down events for the event map. We did work with Fort Worth this year. The Water Department held a Chasing Leaks 5K run and walk and 3 other events where residents could learn how to find and fix leaks. City worked with WaterSense to develop Spanish language materials, artwork, and games for outreach to the community. You'll hear more about those efforts in the coming months, and we're hoping that we'll be able to share what we developed with them with other partners for next year's event. We know that many more Fix a Leak Week events were held, and so if your event is not on the map, please let us know that it happened so that we can add it and so that we'll know that you might be planning something next year. As always, please remember to fill out that partner notification form for any upcoming events that you have. Next slide. So just a brief recap. So we had 5K races, school outreach, artwork contests, and workshops that were using our tools or creating your own tools to promote Fix a Leak Week. So we thank everybody again who participated because it wouldn't really be a success without you. Before we dive into some specific events, we have a poll question for everybody. So the second poll question is, how did your organization celebrate Fix a Leak Week? And there are multiple answers that you can select from. So just go ahead and check off the box of what you did during the 9th Fix a Leak Week. And then Kristen will pull the results up here. I think fortunately this year Charlottesville had a race and it did not get rained out like it did this year or last year. So looking at the results, it looks like many of you used the tools that we had developed to promote the campaign, which is good for us to know because we like to know that things we're developing are actually being used. Looks like rebates were a big picture and also some workshops. Next slide. So looking at the events, and I'm not going to read through all of these, you can see the names yourself, but we had a number of partners that did social media and outreach campaigns. Of note, American Standard did have some giveaways for faucets during the week, which is also mentioned there below. So next slide. We also had a lot of people who were doing workshops. I know this has been very successful in the past. In some cases, they've done it with retailers in their area. In the city of Atlanta, people were learning how to use shower heads, install and fix leaks. They had a very active efforts throughout the city during the week. In Citrus County, they were looking at also their water bills and helping people check for leaks. And in the city of Dallas, they had some do-it-yourself plumbing repair workshops. Next slide. Several partners also hosted races and contests and provided classroom outreach. We had the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District with its 5th annual Water Drop Dash and Water Festival. We had the city of Charlottesville in Virginia held its annual Fix a Leak Week Family 5K where people chased a running toilet through the streets and learned how to fix leaks in their home. The city of Fort Worth partnered with their Runners Club to host their 3rd annual Chasing Leaks 5K. And the city of Winnipeg in Manitoba invited local schools and families to participate in its leak detector challenge to track down leaks at school and at home. Next slide. So we encourage all of you who participated in Fix a Leak Week again to visit the WaterSense in Action database to get ideas for next year and also to share your story so people can learn from it. It's an easy to fill out form and it will just help us help everybody else. We also give you a chance to provide additional information, and if there's enough there, we might make it into a case study or have you on a future webinar to speak about what you've done. So before we move on to Sprinkler Spruce Up, we do have another poll to ask you about. Looking at next year, we try to do the 3rd week of March, but we want to also get your input. So next year, what week would work best for you guys if you have a preference? March 12th through the 18th, March 19th through the 25th, or either one? I know for some of the more northern partners, they like to see a little bit later if they're having outdoor events. So we can pull up the results from that. So either week works for most of the groups, so that's good to know. It looks like March 29th, there's a slight preference there. So we will get with our folks and decide what week, and we'll be updating our website here in the next couple of weeks to let you know when that will be. Next slide. So spring has sprung. Spring arrived last week and Fix a Leak Week is over, so we're turning our thoughts to the next campaign, which is the 5th annual Sprinkler Spruce Up. Next slide. Before your consumers are ready to begin their outdoor watering this spring, we would like you to encourage them to do a little Sprinkler Spruce Up to ensure their systems are operating properly. We do the official campaign in the 1st weekend of May, but we know in many parts of the country people are firing up their systems earlier than that. Experts estimate that as much as half of the water that we use outdoors is wasted due to evaporation, runoff, wind, inefficient irrigation. So by getting your customers to maintain their irrigation systems and have them inspected and repaired, you could reduce outdoor water waste in your community. It's also an opportunity to promote the WaterSense labeled weather-based irrigation controllers, which, as you know, are smart controllers that act like a thermostat for your sprinkler systems. So we encourage you to look for those. Next slide. When promoting Sprinkler Spruce Up, we have provided sort of a little mantra that you can use to make it easier for consumers to remember what they should be doing. So they should be inspecting, connecting, directing, and selecting. Inspecting the systems for clogged, broken, missing sprinkler heads, looking for those connections to make sure they're tight, directing the water away from impermeable surfaces to things that actually need water, and selecting a proper irrigation system schedule that goes with the seasons. We also encourage people to go with a pro, a certified professional, and we do have a directory of those professionals who have been certified by a WaterSense labeled program on our website. Next slide. The tools and resources are available on the partner site now to help your partners, to help you promote Sprinkler Spruce Up. We have our 1-minute long animated video, which you can share on your website and social media channels. We also have infographics and web badges that can be used to remind consumers. You can customize the WaterSense bill stuffer and postcard that we have using Microsoft Word, or use the sample text to promote it in your local area. You'll also find case studies from other partners who have had campaigns, social media posts, and a facts and tips page. So these tools are all available on the partner site on the link that's noted on the bottom of the slide. Next slide. And of course, as always, we would be happy to promote and support your Sprinkler Spruce Up efforts, but we need to know what you're planning. So let us know by filling out a partner notification form on the partner website, and the earlier we know, the better we can support your events. Of course, this assumes that we will be able to do that sort of thing, but I'm hoping that we will be able to do more social media going forward. Also, there is a section on the form where you can indicate if you'd like to borrow Flo, pictured here, the WaterSense spokes gallon. She's somewhat limited and has a busy schedule, so get your form in soon if you'd like her to come visit you. Before we move on to our Partners in Action, we have a poll for you. How will your organization celebrate Sprinkler Spruce Up this year? And again, there are multiple answers that you can choose here. Whether you're going to promote on social media or actually do direct consumer interactions through workshops or assessments. Let's see what we have. So the tools are going to be used. Social media will be big. A few workshops. We would like you to see you promote the Certified Professionals Directory, so I would encourage you to check that out and kind of type in your own zip code and see what shows up for your local area. So that looks good. So now we're going to dive into an example of a partner that actually has promoted Sprinkler Spruce Up. We have Karina Sandike from the city of Santa Monica, and she's going to tell us more about how they successfully promoted Sprinkler Spruce Up. Next slide. Take it over.
Thank you. So I am a water resources specialist with the city's water conservation unit. So the water conservation unit's main objective is to help the city reach water self-sufficiency by 2020. Currently, 80% of Santa Monica's water comes from groundwater resources. However, with our programs and also our outreach efforts, we hope to get that to 100 by 2020. Santa Monica remains in a stage 2 water supply shortage. So what that means is the city mandates a 20% reduction in water use from 2013. We enforce this through our water use allowance program with the city, which is a calculation per billing cycle for each water customer in Santa Monica to reduce their use by 20%. And water customers who exceed their allowance can receive a penalty, and this started in winter 2015. Currently, the city offers programs to help people save water, so we still offer our landscape rebate turf removal programs, rain harvesting rebates, and we also offer water use consultations, which primarily focus as an indoor water audit for water customers. And we also offer landscape rebate consultations, which primarily focuses on the outdoor irrigation aspects. Next slide. So last summer, we actually launched the city's Spruce Up Your Sprinkler campaign. So we wanted to use community-based social marketing to promote efficient water use, behavioral change in our landscape. We targeted 70 single-family homes in the northeast region of Santa Monica who have all exceeded their water use allowance at least once within a 4-month billing period. And they all had comparable lot sizes with lawn present. And we confirmed this via GIS property observations. Staff recognizes these are the biggest barriers, is providing the right information to the right people about irrigation maintenance and sustainable landscaping practices. So we found through outreach with our stakeholders, meeting our customers face-to-face through consultations, and also through our various rebate programs and outreach programs, that a lot of homeowners didn't understand what a watering schedule was, and how much water is actually used in the landscape. They didn't know how to operate their irrigation system or even run maintenance without any type of assistance through a landscape professional or a gardener. They didn't know how to kind of prioritize irrigation system, so to prioritize that it was running at its highest efficiency and make that a priority in their mindset. And a lot of people were assuming that the gardener provides maintenance and repair services as part of their normal duties. We also had the issue of overcoming potential language barriers between homeowners and their staff maintaining their landscape. So we hoped with this program that we'd be able to achieve some active engagement and hopefully make some more homeowners become more like water managers for the property. We wanted them just to perform just any kind of maintenance checks, so inspect their sprinklers, adjust spray patterns, check for any running leaks, and also just learn more about the city's incentive programs and hopefully consider removing their lawn to increase water savings on their property. Next slide. So how we notified customers is we sent a program invitation postcard. This included that we would shortly be sending them a program packet, which would include a welcome letter with a link to the survey, a printed survey as well, Spruce Up Your Sprinklers checklist, and a sprinkler spruce up consultation, like informational sheet on expectations of what to expect. All the packet information was also provided both in English and Spanish, and we also included an irrigation scheduler on the checklist form as well as part of our campaign. Next slide. So the following slides are all samples of essentially what we sent as part of our campaign. This was the invitation postcard. It was just notifying them that they were one of 70 chosen households, so it's promoting that this is an exclusive program. We did use EPA WaterSense's materials to help us with some of the images for all of our campaign material. And we highlighted that by completing a 2-minute survey, they can earn a free 2-hour sprinkler spruce up consultation, which is a service that's valued at $200. Next slide. So this is the welcome letter. I also included the Spanish translations, which was on the backside of each piece of packet information. So on this letter, we essentially emphasized they were exceeding their allowance, and they were noted as having exceeded it at least once within the past 4 months, and they are subject to penalties if this continues. We also highlighted again that they are one of 70, and that they can, just by checking their sprinklers, not only save money, hopefully make sure that their irrigation is running at its most efficient, and become like active water managers for the property, but they can also receive a 2-hour consultation free just for participating. So we would send a landscape professional to help them with technicalities, lend their expertise, and kind of give them specific advice to their property on how to save water in their landscape. Next slide. So this was a survey that we came up with. The survey was only 5 questions, and these questions were vetted by not only our staff, but our landscape inspectors, as well as some of our consultants, as the key barriers in preventing people from being conscious of the potential water waste in their landscape. And we put it also in Spanish as well, because we wanted to give them the opportunity that if they were not conscious, or if they gave responsibility to their landscape professional or gardener who maintained the property, that they have the opportunity to participate in our program as well. And we also included a paper version with a return envelope postage, as well as a direct link so they can complete it online. Next slide. So this is our Spruce Up Your Sprinkler checklist. We did use the EPA material, and then below that we also included some more personalization just to help them understand some of the facts of potential water loss on the property by not keeping up with regular maintenance for their landscape. We also promoted our landscape rebate program just so they know that it's still available and is still an option for them. and we provided them with an irrigation scheduler, which we hope they would consider completing with their gardener or with our consultant. Originally, we wanted to make this as a form of postcard or something that they can stick onto their irrigation timer or weather-based irrigation controller. However, we found in the field some homeowners don't know where it exists on the property. So we decided just to leave it as a blank checklist, so hopefully they can keep it on their fridge or somewhere that's at least visible that they can choose to put it. Next slide. And then this is our sprinkler spruce-up consultation. So these are basically a list of expectations of what the consultant will review with them. Hopefully realize some of the aspects of their landscape that they're not currently taking care of, or maybe it's not a priority that they should be thinking of when they consider their irrigation maintenance. And during this time, we also trained 3 consultants, or some of our consultants on contract, and we specifically promoted efficient irrigation use, and then also promoted some of our rebate programs for soil moisture sensors and also weather-based irrigation controllers that the city currently offers. Next slide. So as a result of the campaign, we did have a 17% participation rate, which we're very proud of. Out of the surveys, we discovered that 50% of respondents know how to adjust the property's irrigation timers and update the schedule. Half of the participants feel confident in the person responsible for maintaining the irrigation system, and they believe that it was running at its most efficient. And over 80% of respondents cannot repair any leaks in the irrigation system without the help of a professional. We actually spoke to our consultants after they completed their appointments as well, and they confirmed some of the barriers that we already knew existed, which was that there are language barriers between the owner and the gardener at some properties. Homeowners were shocked when the consultant broke down the relationship between the water used in their landscape and the relationship to their water bill. And homeowners were attached to their lawns, however, would consider removing lawn in the parkway as a more reasonable first step and first kind of dive into sustainable landscaping before removing the lawn in their front or backyard. We knew that because of the participation rate, although we are happy that 17%, with the rate of 17%, we did know that this would be a challenging campaign for this particular neighborhood to pick up. We are aware that sprinkler maintenance is not a priority, and we knew this because we also run water waste enforcement in our city. So within the past 2 years, we've investigated a little over 1,100 water waste complaints and reports. And as a result, the city has banned the installation of new spray irrigation, recognizing that maintenance is not at the forefront of some of the properties that have lawn, and that this is one of the best ways to essentially prevent future water waste violations and water waste in general to help us achieve their 2020 self-sufficiency. Next slide. So after the campaign, 8 properties from our target group have participated in at least a free water use consultation appointment, which is a more so indoor audit, and or have submitted a landscape rebate program application, so to remove lawn either in their yard or their parkway. 4 properties from our control group have participated in at least a free water use consultation and are submitted a landscape rebate application. So essentially we doubled our success rate in educating homeowners on the city's water conservation programs and services compared to our normal outreach efforts. We feel like our staff has reached our goal for this campaign. We successfully promoted efficient water use behavioral change in these landscapes and in the home, which is all that we can ask for with this program, especially during the summer months in Santa Monica. Next slide. So moving forward, later this summer, we hope to compare water savings 1 year later, and also create a GIS layer of properties that participated in these city programs, and as well as our other outreach campaigns to do an analysis of water savings. And then with the survey results and consultation feedback, we hope to consider these updates for the city's 2017-2018 landscape rebate program and make appropriate adjustments. So hopefully we can make maintenance a bigger issue and a bit bigger part of their awareness when they do decide to convert to sustainable landscaping. Whether or not they have lawn or sustainable landscaping, we want them to know that it's great if they can manage their landscapes at the most efficient it can be. And we hope to use this information as we start to plan actually our Roost Up Your Sprinkler campaign for this year, summer 2017. Next slide. So this is my contact information. If you have any questions about the city's water conservation programs, I'd be happy to answer any questions via phone or via email. And I believe overall questions will be held at the end of the presentation, so I'll stay on the line if anyone has anything.
Thank you, Karina. And if any questions come up for anybody, feel free to type them in and we'll cover them at the end. Now Jonathan Kleinman from AIQUEOUS and Annikki Chamberlain from the town of Gilbert and formerly the city of Prescott will discuss how technology in the cloud can improve water conservation management.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Kleinman, the president of AIQUEOUS, and recently I gave a presentation at a water conservation symposium in Central Texas, sponsored by the Texas Water Foundation and also the Living Waters Project. I wanted to begin just by talking about, from my perspective, different kinds of software that can be used in the water conservation space before Annikki talks about her use of our platform, WaterWays. Next slide, please. So, based upon our experience with clients, one of the things that we've heard when looking at a software option is that there are so many of them to choose from that oftentimes people just stop looking for a solution because it's too confusing. There are too many options and it's too difficult to tell the difference between one and another. So looking at the market, these are the four categories that seem to make the most sense to me in terms of organizing it, and I provide a couple of examples going forward. Next slide. So water loss prevention can work in two different ways. One is to reduce leaks on the system, non-revenue water loss. The second, as we were just talking about with Fix a Leak Week, the ability to help customers reduce leakage at their own homes or business facilities. So AMI, as you all know, has the ability to provide real-time data about water usage when it's not expected, and depending upon the portal that you have, can provide notifications to customers, alerting them to unintended use and giving them an opportunity to eliminate those leaks. Next slide. So a second type of software package that can use smart meter data but doesn't have to is a behavior-based program. These are programs that use behavioral economics to try to drive or incent behavior, water-conserving behavior. WaterSmart is among the best known. There are also others called like Drop Counter or Meter Hero. All of these combine the data with normative comparisons with the surrounding community and try to tie usage patterns, perhaps with some background analytics, to recommend specific water conservation measures that could be implemented. Next slide. So most people think of smart irrigation platforms as a customer-facing software package. However, these manufacturers often provide a utility platform that allows them to see and aggregate the data across their service territory. Depending upon the manufacturer, we have worked closely with SkyDrop. They're able to provide a communication path outward, so messaging to let people know when watering restriction days are happening. Other kinds of messaging can be useful. And so this is another type of software package that can be used by the utility as well as the end-use customer. Next slide, please. And then finally, there are software packages out there that provide a program data management platform. And what this does is it takes what are often very manual processes in terms of scheduling the irrigation consults, collecting the irrigation consult information, taking the rebate forms, and digitizing the whole process from the field to the back office. And what this can do is significantly reduce the amount of time spent on the program and can allow program staff to get back out into the field where they're having the most impact. ConserveTrack is a product out of California. It's been around for a while. We've been around for 2 years. Droplet is another type of program management platform, but mostly focuses on the irrigation end use. And now what I'd like to do is turn it over to Annikki, who can talk about her use of the program data management platform. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. If you compare the value provided with the potential obstacles, if you have high volume, or if you or your staff feel that a good chunk of their time, a third or so, is spent just around data management, you can cost effectively get a good return through the investment in a platform. The challenges are talking to IT, addressing data security concerns, and being able to facilitate the communication between data systems. Those are all things that we and others have been able to overcome, and so that's why customers like Annikki have been able to use the platform. Now I can turn it over to Annikki.
Thanks, Jonathan. You can go to the next slide. My name is Annikki Chamberlain. I was the Water Resource Coordinator at the City of Prescott when we implemented WaterWays to help us manage our rebate program. So basically, I was trying to manage the rebate program in Excel, which I learned that's not a reasonable tactic after about 500 or so rebate applications. So while Excel is a great tool for numbers, many more data that are important in a rebate program than just numbers, especially as the program grows. You've got names, addresses, account history, calls, complaints, name changes, moves, anything you can think of. So it's also difficult to inherit an Excel spreadsheet from a different person. As we all know, our brains operate differently, and it's not always intuitive. And then lastly, I was finding it almost impossible to provide the level of customer service that people expect when they submit a rebate application. Folks want to be updated constantly about the rebate, but it's difficult to even attempt to call each applicant one time. So this program was able to provide me a lot better customer service. So basically, over the next few slides, I'm going to do my best with screenshots to highlight some of the features that we were really attracted to. So we were really attracted to the fact it was an online tool. So it didn't require a big software installation or a lot of the interaction with IT that and difficulties that can happen, and that it was basically in cost and functionality, great size for our program. We had 23,000 accounts, so it wasn't a huge investment for a fairly small program. And then basically just streamlined a lot of the components of the rebate program that take a lot of time, calculating savings, managing documentation, customer communication, generating reports, anything like that. And then, of course, we were really attracted to the mobile options of it, allowing customers to submit applications from their electronic devices, eliminating work for everybody. So you can go to the next slide, and we'll go through some of the features, like I said, in a bit more detail as best we can with screenshots. So just for frame of reference, this was our implementation timeline. About 6 months from the time we decided to implement the program to when we were up and running. And AIQUEOUS was great to work with, very smooth, really tailored the program to our needs. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Most of our biggest gains with AIQUEOUS were customer interface, both internal customers and external customers. So you can go to the next slide. Starting with the online application, customers can access this website, waterrebates.com. It's very easy for them to do, very easy to navigate through. And here's a screenshot of the home page. Basically, we were able to tailor it to our graphics and the look we wanted to have with buttons and very simple text. If you can go ahead and go to the next slide. As you continue to scroll down the page, there's a map kind of showing retailers locally, and then we were able to highlight some of our bigger programs that sometimes people don't always read the rules, and so we answer a lot of questions. So we're able to highlight the rules specifically here. And then continue the next slide. As you continue to scroll down, they're online, the actual online rebate form, very easy, type in the critical information, select their program, and then can upload their receipts, pictures, any of the requirements for your program. So very easy for the applicant and very easy for me. So once the applicant submits the application, they'll get a notification that says, your application was submitted successfully. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. Then after this initial notification, the applicant was updated through the approval process with automated emails. So we organized it to auto-deliver a confirmation that their application was under review, and then once it had been, their account had been credited, that also sent them an automatic email. So this was amazing for us. Most of my calls with the rebate program was people constantly wanting to know where their rebate was in the process, as well as sometimes with the billing, and you have people who pay automatically, they don't always see that their account has been credited. So this basically just stopped the calls for any questions like that. They get an email, and then they know that it's been taken care of. So that was very helpful. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Another, oh, and one more, sorry, those are just examples of the email communication. Another great tool was this home water report. Basically, I had been doing a version of this on my own, but it was much more complicated. So this is a really good level of communication for the average customer, comparing their water use to the average in the community and the average in the state. And this is automated. This is generated by WaterWays. So I send a request saying I'd like a home water report for a particular account. They generate this, send it to me, and it is very, saves me a lot of time. We liked the format so much, actually, that we, what you see, oh, you can go to the next slide. We actually used a similar format for consistency and made some community water reports with production and stuff, again, showing like the city GPCD compared to the state averages and things like that. So we really like the format. And you can go ahead and go to the next slide. And then we also had a paper application that we made. Prescott's a bit of a retirement community, so it's a little bit slower of a shift to, electronic. A lot of people still like paper, so we were able to highlight it, the waterrebates.com on our paper application. But yeah, so it all was a cohesive look. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So let's see. So so internally there was a lot of time savings, basically shifting from typing everything into just clicking through your application, processing your applications. You know, you get a paper rebate application, and in Excel you spend so much time retyping all the information that somebody else already wrote down. So with WaterWays, basically we just were able to click through everything. When an online, you can go to the next slide. So here's when an online form is submitted, here's the submission log here. Basically, it's what it looks like. I select one, go to the next slide. So basically, they've already inputted their information, they've uploaded all of their receipts, and I can just create a project right from that. So I don't have to retype anything, which is amazing, especially if you have a really big program. So after I move it directly into a project, basically all of the work the applicant's already done, I'm using as my work instead of redoing it, and all of the receipts and everything have already been uploaded. So go ahead and go to the next slide. Once you create this into a project, again, you're just continue to click instead of type. So for example, we merged all of our utility billing data, our contacts and account numbers, into WaterWays. So very easy process, just in an Excel spreadsheet through our IT department. But so basically we just do a quick search for the account number and the contact, and then we just select them and it enters all of their information. So that was a big savings too. Occasionally if the account isn't there, you know, we had agreed to update the program every year. So if the account's not there, you can just add it. Then as you go down toward the bottom of the page, this is where you enter the account measures, and again, you can tailor that to whatever your program was, but what we liked basically was that each measure has a water saving value basically derived from industry standards. So for our community, we had no specific before or after studies, so we really liked the consistency and the validity of having kind of industry standard savings attached to our uses. So you basically can add your measures there, and then the project is basically ready to be sent to utility billing. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Here's a picture of the dashboard. This is a wonderful tool. So this is what I see from a manager perspective. So basically any graph that you could want, any way you want the data displayed, AIQUEOUS was able to make that for us, which is very useful if I'm sure everybody has some reports due on fiscal year, some are due on calendar year. So really, if we want to look at things based on water savings, based on finances, really any way we could look at it, we have a report for. And then we can just click on any of these and generate a custom report for the time frame we want in just moments. So it really helped with annual reporting or dealing with city council questions, anything where you're trying to give an overview of the program. And you can go ahead and go to the next slide. This I'd meant to speak about earlier, but another wonderful tool or part of feature is tracking historical rebates. So in an Excel spreadsheet, it's so difficult to see if the person has already had a rebate, if they've reached their max for the rebate program. In fact, I had a gentleman, we increased our rainwater harvesting installation rebate. Shortly after that, somebody submitted a rebate application for a really big installation. But as I pulled up his account to create the project, I saw that he had already been credited for that about 4 years earlier. I never would have caught it before, and it was a $500 rebate. So that really helped, and basically what we did was just went back and entered all of our historic projects, and AIQUEOUS made that very easy. It was still some data entry, but totally worth it to keep that long-term record and historical rebates. And so go ahead and go to the next slide. And then here's just some quick examples of some reports that are possible. AIQUEOUS generated these for us at the end of the year, especially if you're trying to show the kind of holistic savings of rebate programs instead of just water. So basically they have a water saving metric based on industry standard to also show the electricity savings. Prescott had 66 pressure zones, so we were working on tailoring one more specific to our area, but hadn't quite got to it yet. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So again, looking at things annually, you can look at lifetime savings. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Budget, any budget reports you want, wonderful. Again, just examples. There's limitless possibilities. Go to the next slide. This one is a nice one, payback in years. So again, many ways that you can look at the data. So basically, in summary, the program gave me a lot more time. My finished product was better. My internal and external customer service was vastly improved. I was able to pull reports and information literally a fraction of the time, and was much less frustrated than trying to do it all in an Excel/paper kind of hybrid system. And then the external communication side was so beautiful because it's basically taken care of. I didn't even have to think about it. Automated emails, online submission, smartphone friendly, etc. And then I can still run reports, generate graphs, pull data, all the beautiful things of Excel, but basically the program has already done it for me, so I can do it like in a fraction of the time. So obviously I love WaterWays very much, so if anybody has questions, feel free to ask me at the end of the program. That's all I have.
So one of the other questions that we get when we talk to clients is to get the question, where is it possible to start? Whether you're looking at a program management platform or any other software program. Because dollars are scarce, it's important for any investment to provide a return. So it's helpful to identify an area that is going to provide a visible return, but an easy return to accomplish. So if reducing administrative time and making yourself more available and having things be better organized and having a smoother look and feel provides that kind of visibility, then this type of software program can be very helpful. Understanding the market and understanding your organization, as Annikki mentioned, within the older community, not everybody's immediately going to convert to electronic, but you can start scanning and uploading application forms to gradually make that transition. Do you need contractors engaged? Should they be entering information electronically for doing irrigation audits? Those are the kinds of things that you can try to figure out. And then internally within your organization, who else, if this is something that you're interested in, do you need to get on board? Or if there's another software product, identifying the key stakeholders in the organization. And then finally, if there are external champions that are important to your utility, whether those are board members, prominent citizens, they can help advance the cause if they're showing up at public meetings regularly. and you think that there's a software program that can help, provided that doesn't provide any kind of political risk, to your leadership or to your management. Next slide. So Annikki's contact information is here, mine as well. We're obviously happy to have people. Annikki's a phenomenal resource and is very generous with her time. If people have questions for her around her experience, I, of course, am happy to answer questions. With that, we conclude our portion of the presentation. So thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan and Annikki. Veronica Bloody will now discuss a few WaterSense program updates.
Thanks, Kristen. So we are excited to announce that we have made a big change to our public website. So if you haven't been, I encourage you to go and look at the new WaterSense public website that we put up last Friday. The homepage URL is still going to be the same, and you're going to find it has all the great content and tools that you need to help consumers and commercial facilities save water indoors and out. You will want to check, though, if you've got links to our website, you'll want to check and make sure that those aren't broken. Right now, our older website is still up, so it will still work for you, and we have a number of redirects that we have set up. But I would encourage you to look and make sure that you've got the right page, since some of the pages have changed as well. If you've downloaded the WaterSense widget, you don't need to do anything because those images will still appear on your website and the content will update every month. I do know that we've had a few issues with the widgets today that we're hoping to get cleared up, so if you check them today and they're not working correctly, we're aware of it and we're trying to make the changes. So please, I encourage you guys to check out the website and let us know if you have any feedback on it. Next slide. Secondly, although we're still working on the details, the bathroom fixtures campaign that we're planning to kind of roll out in the fall is going to build upon the success of Shower Better and promote other types of WaterSense labeled bathroom fixtures. Bathrooms, as you guys know, are the biggest water wasters in the homes and can account for more than half of the indoor residential use. So this campaign will encourage consumers to make their bathrooms more efficient and high-performing with WaterSense labeled products, which can save people water, energy, and money. For the campaign name right now, we are heavily leaning towards the tagline, Your Better Bathroom. We feel that the campaign tagline would be very versatile across multiple platforms. So we'd like to get a quick vote from you all, though, to see how you like it, how it resonates with you. So please give your feedback on Your Better Bathroom. You can kind of see how we might play with it in a graphic here on the page. Thumbs up or thumbs down, whether you like that sort of tagline. Shouldn't take long to vote, I think. Up or down? Thumbs up. Oh, awesome. Okay, well, that's great to hear. I think that's probably what we'll proceed with working on, and we think it will be a great opportunity for our manufacturers and retailers to embrace it as well. Finally, we did want to remind you that the Partner of the Year Awards application is still open, and we actually have extended it today to next Friday, April 7th. So I know some people like to wait till the last minute. You have a little bit of extra time to get your application materials together. To be eligible for an award, you must have become a WaterSense partner prior to January 1st, 2017 and submitted a 2016 annual reporting form. And if most of you are utilities on the line, if you haven't submitted that form yet, you could still submit that and then submit your application. New for this year, we're allowing partners to apply only for an Excellence Award if they feel like they don't have enough to justify a full Partner of the Year award. The Excellence Awards, if you'll remember, are given to the applicants who demonstrate outstanding achievements in one or more evaluation criteria. So this is a great way to show off your 2016 achievements. It's the 10th Water Smart Innovations Conference is this fall, so we're looking forward to sharing the WaterSense winners there. If you have any last-minute questions, you can contact the helpline as noted here. And then we have one last poll for everyone before we go to the Q&As. The poll question is, are you planning to apply for a 2017 Partner of the Year award? Just so we know how busy we're going to be when those award applications come in. So please go ahead and just select one of the answers you see on the screen. You're not interested in an award, I would have a sad face showing up on the screen if I had the ability to do an emoji. It's good to see some of you are thinking of applying still. I would also encourage you, though, if you don't feel like you want to go through the process of filling out an award, the Partners in Action database that we have, that we ask people to fill out examples of what they're doing, is great for us. We use it often to identify activities to promote and to find speakers like this for the webinar we had today. And speaking of the webinar we had today, we did have some fabulous speakers, so I'm going to move to the next slide. We're going to open up the floor for questions from Karina at Santa Monica on their Sprinkler Spruce Up campaign, and Jonathan and Annikki from Prescott. And I guess, Annikki, I want to know, is Gilbert going to be moving to this platform? You must be sad to have left it when you left your job at Prescott.
I know, I did really like it. We do not have a rebate program in the town of Gilbert for residential programs like this, but
okay.
there's a lot of capability in there, yeah.
So have we had any questions come in, Kristen?
Yes, we have had some come in. The first question we have is for Karina. Karina, someone's asking, when you were talking about a ban, they're asking, did that include banning high-efficiency irrigation systems, high-efficiency spray or rotor with pressure regulation?
Yes, so it's all spray irrigation, new installations of systems of spray irrigation, and this primarily is for new development and major remodels. This is a policy that it's part of our green building ordinance, so it's also tied into our energy. So if you have further questions about that, I could probably direct you more to our energy and landscape group in our department, who worked on the specifics for the policy, but it's for all new installations of any type of spray irrigation, with the exception for like recreational areas, schools, and I believe for public city facilities too, with certain cases.
Great, thank you so much. We have a couple more questions, and if you are on the line and have any more, please feel free to type those into the chat box. Annikki, this question is for you. Someone's wondering, for the home water reports, is that pulling data directly from your billing system? And if so, what billing system are you using?
So we upload IT questions. I usually just put it in a help ticket and hope for the best. But yeah, we had uploaded the account information into, oh my gosh, I apologize. I really can't remember the IT side of things. I just put the AIQUEOUS in contact with the IT department and had them work it out. They're not tapped into the IT department. It would have been an upload through Excel. And maybe Jonathan can help answer that.
Sure, we're able to get access to the information and then based upon the account number, create a pretty easy way to import the usage information into the graphic and then to be able to provide it and print it out. I can get more information about that and follow up if there's interest.
Thanks, Jonathan. We have another question for you, Jonathan, actually. Question is, what would you say is the minimum dollar value of the cost of water before there's money savings? This person's water costs $0.63 or 0.63 over 1,000, let's see, 63 cents per 1,000 gallons. That's what it is.
Okay.
Sorry, I was having trouble reading that.
So there's two ways to look at that answer. The first is to think about the avoided cost of water from a water conservation program and whether a water conservation program provides long-term savings. Being in Texas, I think a lot about acre feet, or having done some work. There's 1 million gallons per day. I know that there are water conservation programs that are being run for under 3 million per MGD, and so I'd need to sit down and compare your cost of water to some of the thresholds to see if it makes sense. But if you've got a big supply of water, no immediate capital needs, you have to find very cost-effective water conservation measures. From the program management side, this really is about kind of a labor ratio. we think that as long as you are spending at least a fourth of your time just managing data, that you can cost effectively implement a program which provides a 2-to-1 ratio in terms of the value of your time saved compared to the investment in the technology. And then the more and more time you're spending on just data management. And again, that's not necessarily rebate processing. It can be anything associated with transferring handwritten information into electronic or just keeping track of and filing all that information. So I hope that answers the question. But if there is an interest in translating your 63 cents per 1,000 gallons to some other water conservation benchmarks, you can get in touch with us, and we have that information available.
Excellent, thank you. There's no further questions at this time.
Thanks, everybody. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to email the WaterSense helpline. Our next partner webinar is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 23rd, and we will discuss summer water saving techniques. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today.